I'm Dr. Julia Morgan, a board certified urologist with over 15 years of experience assisting men above 50 in regaining vitality, circulation, and hormonal balance in natural ways. Allow me to pose a question to you quite straightforwardly. When did you last realize your body wasn't reacting as it once did? Not only in energy levels, but in firmness, fullness, or confidence in an intimate setting. If you're above 50 and have privately wondered if something appears smaller, weaker, or less responsive, it's not your imagination. But here's the reality: most men are never informed. That shift isn't inevitable aging, and it's not irreversible damage. In most instances, it's an issue with circulation, not a breakdown of your body. And today, I'll demonstrate how one common item already in your kitchen can assist in reopening those pathways for blood flow in a safe and natural manner. Most men believe the sole choices are prescription medications or costly supplements featuring grand claims in fine print. But imagine if the initial move toward regaining vascular fullness involves not introducing something new, but fixing an internal disruption that gradually constricts your blood vessels over the years. That disruption is one I encounter regularly in men above 50. And when it's corrected, the body frequently performs better than anticipated. If this subject seems intimate, that's because it truly is. You're not damaged, and you're certainly not isolated. In this video, I'll guide you through a straightforward 5-step method focused on baking soda, sodium bicarbonate. And before you dismiss it, hear me out. We're not discussing miracles or extremes. We're discussing optimizing your body's internal conditions so your blood vessels can perform as intended. By the conclusion, you'll comprehend why so many men confuse limited blood flow for irreversible decline, and how minor, ongoing adjustments can rebuild. Why sodium bicarbonate? The science explained confidence from within. Before we proceed, I want you to complete 2 simple actions. First, leave a comment sharing where you're viewing from. I review them, and it assists other men in seeing this is a worldwide discussion, not an isolated battle. Second, if you appreciate evidence-supported guidance for men above 50, feel free to subscribe. I share weekly approaches centered on circulation, vitality, and aging strongly. Now, here's the section most men have never learned. What appears in the mirror is frequently not your actual potential. When blood flow is constrained, tissues remain in a persistently underfilled condition. Picture a garden hose with a crimp. The hose hasn't reduced in size. The water simply can't pass through. Aging, inflammation, and gradual changes in body chemistry develop those crimps gradually, particularly after 50. In the upcoming section, I'll describe why acidity, inflammation, and vascular rigidity gradually rise with age and how they directly influence firmness and sensitivity. Once you grasp that, the approach begins to seem far more logical. As men progress beyond 50, 3 quiet changes occur within the body that nearly nobody explains thoroughly. And when these 3 align, circulation is impacted well before anything fully ceases functioning. The first is low-level, ongoing inflammation. This isn't the type that causes illness or keeps you in bed. It's faint. It accumulates gradually from stress, inadequate sleep, processed foods, past injuries, and even excessive sitting within blood vessels. This inflammation renders the vessel walls more rigid. When vessels lack flexibility, they can't dilate completely when blood flow is required. That by itself can diminish fullness and sensitivity, even if hormone levels appear fine in tests. The second change is rising acidity in the bloodstream. As we grow older, kidney function gradually decreases. That results in the body turning a bit more acidic over time, especially in men above 60. Acidic blood How pH levels directly affect your blood vessels lead smooth muscle surrounding blood vessels to contract. Picture it as operating a vehicle with the emergency brake lightly applied. You can still drive, but full power doesn't reach the wheels entirely. This is one of the most ignored causes why men experience reduced vascular strength, even when they're handling everything else correctly. The third change is oxidative stress. Free radicals harm nitric oxide, the molecule that signals blood vessels to dilate. Many men use supplements to boost nitric oxide, but fail to recognize the internal blood environment is degrading it before it can act. It's akin to filling a tank with high-quality fuel in an engine with blocked injectors. Now here's where many men become discouraged. They assume the answer is greater stimulation, more potent pills, or increased doses. But if the internal conditions remain inflamed, acidic, and oxidized, those methods quickly reach a limit. This is why I advise my patients we don't begin by forcing more. We begin by opening the pathway. I've observed men in their 60s and 70s recover noticeable vascular sensitivity merely by addressing these internal states. Not instantly, not drastically, but gradually and enduringly. The shift in confidence frequently arrives before any major physical alteration. You cease sensing that your body is failing you. This is also where guilt often emerges. For many men, they presume decline indicates weakness or defeat. Allow me to state clearly, these shifts are biological, not personal flaws. They occur subtly and predictably. And the positive aspect is they are very receptive to minor, regular adjustments. Shortly, I'll guide you through the initial practical tactic that tackles all three of these problems simultaneously: inflammation, acidity, and nitric oxide. Degradation using something straightforward and managed. This is where knowledge becomes action, and where numerous men detect the first indicators that circulation is the bicarbonate method. Step-by-step instructions reawakening. Now let's discuss the initial practical adjustment. And this is where baking soda enters not as a treatment, not as a wonder, but as a means to alter the internal landscape so your circulation can operate once more. Sodium bicarbonate acts as a buffering substance. That means it softly neutralizes extra acidity in the blood. When acidity decreases, even modestly smooth, muscle surrounding blood vessels eases. Eased vessels expand more. Expanded vessels permit greater blood volume. Greater volume results in improved fullness, warmth, and sensitivity. This is fundamental vascular physiology, and it's why this method performs best for men above 50, whose primary concern is constriction, not breakdown. The easiest starting point is the morning buffering. Drink 1/4 teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda mixed in 8 ounces of water consumed first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. That's all. Nothing drastic, nothing intense. The aim isn't to over-alkalize suddenly. The aim is regularity, minor daily cues that signal your vascular system it's okay to ease. Many men detect something faint within 2 to 3 weeks. Not a major shift, but a feeling of heaviness, warmth, or quicker response. That's microcirculation enhancing. That's blood at last, arriving at tissue that's been undersupplied for years. If the flavor troubles you, you can include a slight squeeze of fresh lemon. Though lemon seems acidic, it turns alkaline after metabolism, and it supplies citrate, which additionally aids kidney buffering. This mix also assists in lowering oxidative stress, which safeguards nitric oxide from degrading too rapidly. Now, a key safety point: baking soda includes sodium. If you have uncontrolled hypertension, heart failure, or follow a strict low sodium diet, this is something you need to consult your doctor about initially. This is enhancement, not careless testing. Most healthy men handle this fine, but individual health always counts. The second tactic expands on this internal why timing matters. The best time of day to use it change and targets local circulation. Tissue condition is equally important as blood chemistry. Gradually, congestion and low-level inflammation can rigidify tissue, rendering it less pliable even as blood flow enhances. That's why certain men experience partial gains but not complete sensitivity. A warm bicarbonate soak assists in tackling this externally. 2 tablespoons of baking soda mixed in warm, not hot, water applied as a targeted soak for 10 to 15 minutes 2 to 3 times weekly. The aim isn't deep body penetration. The aim is lowering surface inflammation, enhancing skin and tissue pliability, and aiding microvascular dilation below. Picture it as easing a constricted glove. Once tension is eased, mobility returns more readily. Many men note enhanced comfort and a better look, which by itself lowers worry and pressure on performance. Here's something crucial. Confidence and circulation are closely linked. When a man begins detecting minor positive shifts, his nervous system eases. Reduced anxiety leads to improved blood flow. This forms a beneficial cycle rather than the negative spiral many men face. In the following stage, we'll discuss how this buffering impact improves other practices you might already follow, including foods, supplements, or prescribed drugs, and how timing greatly influences outcomes. Now, let's link this to something many of you already do or have attempted previously. Nitric oxide assistance, beets, leafy greens, L-arginine, L-citrulline, even prescription medications all operate via the same fundamental pathway. They cue blood vessels to dilate, but here's the issue I observe weekly in my practice. The cue is present, but the environment degrades it too rapidly. Nitric oxide is delicate. In a boosting results, foods to pair, with bicarbonate body with elevated oxidative stress and persistent acidity, it degrades swiftly. That means the cue to expand doesn't endure long enough to produce significant fullness. This is why men frequently report supplements helped slightly initially, then diminished or became unreliable. The pathway lacked support. When bicarbonate reduces acidity and lowers oxidative stress, it serves like a safeguarding buffer. Nitric oxide endures longer. Vessels remain open longer. Blood volume is sustained rather than dropping rapidly. This is where reliability replaces inconsistency. And for numerous men, that reliability is what rebuilds confidence above all. The timing is important. If you're taking nitric oxide aiding foods or supplements, consume the bicarbonate drink roughly 30 minutes prior. You're not overloading intensely. You're setting the landscape so the cue can arrive and remain effective. Picture it as moistening parched soil before seeding. Plants thrive better when the earth is prepared. There's another aspect here that's seldom covered, and it's inflammation-linked tissue rigidity, sometimes known as age-related fibrosis. Gradually, ongoing inflammation renders tissue less pliable. Even with strong blood flow, rigid tissue can't expand completely. It's like attempting to fill a balloon of heavy paper rather than latex. By lowering systemic inflammation, bicarbonate assists in maintaining tissue suppleness. Research indicates reduced inflammatory markers linked to improved vascular compliance. In simple terms, the tissue turns more responsive rather than resistant. Men frequently portray this as seeming more organic, less compelled, less artificial. This stage isn't about pursuing extremes, it's about reclaiming respect. Recognizing your body can still react. When you aid it appropriately, alters how you present yourself. That alteration impacts posture, breathing, stress hormones, and even sleep, which all cycle back into circulation. To prevent reliance, the method I suggest is pulsed application. 5 days active, 2 common mistakes and myths. You need to avoid days inactive. This maintains your body responsive without excessive correction. We are directing physiology, not dominating it. What I hope you observe is how all elements thus far interconnect: internal chemistry, vessel easing, tissue suppleness, nervous system peace. No individual step handles everything. The system enhances overall. In the closing section, I'll provide you a straightforward 30-day schedule you can truly adhere to without excess analysis and describe what genuine progress resembles. So, you recognize you're progressing correctly and not pursuing fables. Let's integrate everything into a schedule that suits everyday life. Because the aim here is not flawlessness, it's progress. For the initial 14 days, maintain simplicity. Each morning prior to coffee or food, combine 1/4 teaspoon of aluminum-free baking soda into 8 oz of water. Include a squeeze of lemon if desired. Consume it gradually. This is your internal renewal. Picture it as easing the system, not compelling a shift. During this period, notice faint indicators, warmth, heaviness, swifter response, or even improved morning vitality. Those are initial circulation gains. During weeks 3 and 4, persist with the morning drink, but include the external soak twice weekly. 10 to 15 minutes in warm water with 2 tablespoons of baking soda, no more. This aids tissue suppleness as your internal chemistry advances. Many men share with me, this is when confidence alters even before major physical shifts appear. Safety. First, who should not use this method? If you're presently taking nitric oxide aiding food supplements or prescribed medication, continue. But note timing, buffer initially, then cue. You might observe things become more consistent, less variable. That's an indication the pathway is operating as a unit. Now let's establish expectations truthfully. This isn't about reversing time to 25. It's about returning your body to its present optimal performance. Most men detect significant shifts between 2 and 4 weeks. They're steady, but they're authentic, and they usually accumulate rather than diminish. The greatest error I witness is men abandoning prematurely because the shift wasn't striking enough quickly enough. Recall circulation health builds. Every day you lessen constriction, you simplify tomorrow. If you're someone who prefers the least effective effort, stick to the morning drink solely. That internal adjustment is the strongest tool for vascular health in men above 50. All else is aiding, not required. I want to express this plainly. Aging doesn't mean yielding vitality, it means wiser management of physiology. You are not damaged. Your body is reacting to years of minor strains, and minor adjustments can yield significant gains. Before concluding, I want to learn from you. Which step will you begin with, the morning drink or the soak? Share it in the comments and mention where you're viewing from in the US or globally. This community is important. If summary and action plan for the next 30 days, this assisted you in better comprehending your body, please like and subscribe. I deliver evidence-supported approaches each week for men above 50 seeking strength, confidence, and respect as they age. And lastly, pass this to one man you value. Too many face this quietly believing decline is unavoidable. It isn't. I'm Dr. Julia Morgan, and recall, vitality isn't an endpoint, it's an ongoing practice. Before ending, let me note this video is educational only. It doesn't substitute medical guidance. Every man's health circumstance is distinct. If you have medical issues or use prescription medications, please consult your healthcare provider before altering anything.